Like that. We live. That's what it is, y'all. Heads up, eyes open, fist clenched, y'all. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's take history. Welcome again. April 3rd, 2019. Welcome again to another edition of Freedom on Radio, Intellectual Radio. I know we coming in a little bit late. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do what it do, y'all, in the spirit of making history, taking history, and also taping history. 929-477-3785. Also 708-223-8953. That's right on. 70. Okay. Tell them bring me right in. Okay. That's little Nipsey hustle. Y'all, we going out. It's little Nipsey hustle right there, y'all. We coming on in. We're gonna be in sync. We're gonna be in sync with Freedom on Radio, Intellectual Radio, all of them be in sync, y'all. That's Nipsey hustle right there. Nipsey hustle. Long live. We're gonna go out with this here, y'all. Welcome, y'all. Y'all still locked and loaded with us, y'all. Bear with us. Cub with us. We're gonna ride to some Nipsey hustle. We're gonna come on in with a little Nipsey hustle, y'all. While we doing this here, welcome, y'all. Somebody go online, Texas. The sister's name in Texas who was beat by this white dude, and she got some more charges today in Texas. Type in the sister's name. We live, we locked and loaded, y'all. Give me that sister's name in Texas who was beat. Beat. This white dude, you know what I'm saying? And then she got some additional charges today. You want to make sure we put that in our PSA, the People Service Announcement. You know, first and foremost, y'all say welcome again to another edition of Freedom on Radio, Intellectual Radio. Y'all can call in 708-223-8953, 929-477-3785. That's what it is, y'all. We're talking about a number of things, you dig? This is a weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs. So y'all come on in, Cub, we in with us. That's right. We see the comrades, we see the community, the people just getting in with us, y'all. We coming in a little late. We gonna make history, take history, and tape history. Y'all just heard some introductions. You did. Nipsey Hussle. Make sure somebody let me know if I can be heard clearly over the airwaves, over the video, over the Facebook Live. Make sure we can be seen, we can be heard, all that. You know, 'cause we want to get this out there. I need some. Give me that sister. Loud and clear, right on. This is a weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs, done in the spirit of the Black Panther Party Intercommunal News people. The Black Panther Party Cubs, Freedom on Radio's weekly program hosted by myself, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., as well as that of Robin Allen, a.k.a. the Lady Ray. She may tap in with us. Y'all know she's been going through some health issues, keeping your minds, your hearts, you know, as well as all our people in general. You know, but again, you know, our co-host is on live, locked and loaded with us. You know what I'm saying? But y'all take us pause for the calls. Open the front doors, the back windows, you know what I'm saying? Tweet, Instagram, whatever forms of social media that you may have access to. You know, matter of fact, utilize that old community grapevine. Tell somebody to tell somebody, you dig, that we live and direct on Freedom on Radio. In the spirit of internationalism, again, in the spirit of internationalism, we say in the words of Marcus Garvey, one struggle, one people. You dig, we cannot afford the luxury of this set trip. This is, I need that sister's name real quick. In Texas, we'll make sure we keep updated with that case too. Sister was beat down in Texas. This white dude that beat her, you know what I'm saying? And also just to talk about the state dynamics with that, the additional charges, the charges that she was given today or yesterday. So we'll make sure we include that in there. Also, continue condolences to the situation that continuously happened in Chirac and every other colonized community. The two sisters on 77 in Eggleston that were gunned down 2 days ago. The sister that was gunned down in Washington Park. The brother the other day. You know, and forgive me, forgive us. I definitely don't want to seem insensitive or stoic that we forget some of these names, but you dig, it happens so fast, it's just constant back to back. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, not back to back, but black to back, black to black. other PSAs. You know, John, we'll take y'all input. We'll talk about y'all, you know, some people say, Champ, I never hear you talk about certain things. You never hear, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, this recent Chicago selection, what have you, you did, you know what I'm saying, and many people talking about, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the automatic wars as well as the mayoral election. Lori Lightfoot, as opposed was contending against Tony Preckwinkle, the Cook County Board President. So they say this is like the another. They keep on saying record low, but what they call voter turnout. You know, it's a depiction of, you know, the people's lack of faith in this whole electoral process. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, just keep, you know, like running in circles. You know what I'm saying? And we'll talk about that. I'm open for y'all input. Now, people's position may be, well, we got to choose this. We got to go for that. You know, and it's just, you know, it's insulting that every other, you know, group, especially interest group or, you know, community, can be, you know, bold about their demands or even acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to our community. It's just like in face value only. You know, people say, you know, the term black is thrown around, you know, so terms like people of color, but when it comes to policies, nothing really comes down to our community. And people say, well, where do we go? And again, I know it's a far-fetched. The more work I engage in, the more work we engage in, the more I recognize it is far-fetched that, you know what I'm saying, that people understand that, you know, these different apparatuses can be utilized, but we have to be in a place of power to be able to utilize these apparatuses. In other words, a plumber can look at, you know, can use a wrench and the vice grips and all that, but the plumber has to have enough strength to be able to govern that vice grips. You know what I'm saying, to be the work that our people, our community has to be in a position of power that we can be able to send some mandates and dictates out. You know, we open for that also. And I gave y'all the numbers to give them to y'all again. Need y'all to call in, you know, so even comment on Facebook Live. You did. LaDeja Lee, right on, Sister Comrade. LaDeja Lee. Y'all, the Nancy Key Lee. Y'all, you know, keep in tune with that case. Was happening down in Texas. You dig? And this is an example, you know what I'm saying? You know, people say, well, you know, like, in fact, today, people talking about, you know, well, how should the mayor-elect Lightfoot be addressed? Should it be, you know, people, they say, why are they strategically in different arenas saying the first black woman mayor, or the first openly gay woman mayor, you know, of a city, major city. And there's been historical debates about, you know what I'm saying, right on, Dejanique, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Dallas, Texas, Lee, right on, Section Lee, I see you in the building, that's what it is, a short body, Roosevelt, that's what it is, see y'all in the building, right on, then Muhammad, right on, see my brother, Comrade Nick, I see you in the building, that's what it is, so now in the building, right on, Patty Barr, Deputy Field Marshal, okay, right on, y'all tune on in, y'all let them know we live and direct, y'all, on Free My Radio. And it's questionable, you know what I'm saying, in regards to how does this system, in regard, you know what I'm saying, how, you know, what's priority. In fact, I think it was Katie Couric had asked Obama, then former U.S., I think he may have been Senator Obama when he was running for U.S. president. Katie Couric asked President Obama, then to be President Obama, do you view yourself as a black man or first or something, you know, or an American or something else? And his position was not that of a black man, you know what I'm saying? That he viewed himself as something else as opposed to that of, you know, I think it was American, something else. And I mean, Stroger Sr., after the assassination of Chairman Fred, Defense Secretary Mara Clark, they were asking him about, you know, what do you know, what's your position? His position was, he said he was a Democrat first. And some, you know what I'm saying, especially in this day and age, people say, well, what is, you know what I'm saying, you know, the whole dynamic about, you know, the women, you know, and this has come up, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, people say, are you being oppressed, you a woman, or you black, whatever the case may be. And we have, there's been historical struggles and their historical tactics, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the black community, the divisiveness that's been implemented by the system, you know, by the ruling class. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like people say, well, white women during their era of chattel slavery, they didn't have the right to vote. They got, you know, later on, the era of suffrage and so on and so forth. And though technically not on a record, you know what I'm saying, may not have the right to vote, but the question of, you know, power, the question of, you know, Hillary Clinton, the question of power, you know what I'm saying, even whether it be technically on a record or not. And we see with this case in Dallas, Texas, with this sister, you know what I'm saying, with this white man, with this black woman, we see when the police roll call, over the radio calls, the first description that comes out, the dynamic of race. You know what I'm saying? We have a black male offender, a black female offender, not female, black, you know what I'm saying? So the deal is, we relate to what Lenin said. Lenin had assessed that, Lenin, a Russian theoretician, had assessed that we view situations and individuals how you view the state and how the state views you. Again, how you view the state and how the state views you. That's the dynamics we're talking about. And at the end of the day, in these courtrooms, these classrooms, and these grocery stores, and you know what I'm saying, in market analysis, and these different decision boardrooms, the question of race can never be negated. And we recognize, we know the politics of names, the of stores, so on and so forth. Everything is political, including that of language. That's what it is, y'all. Welcome. I'm taking the bit. I see the y'all bear with me. I'm sitting in this car. You know, I don't do no commercials for nobody else. I'm in this coffee over here. Excuse me. Okay, we live and direct. Y'all got the call-in number. Don't be afraid to use it or utilize it. Nipsey Hussle. Everything is political. Everything is political. There are those we talk who are such a phenomenon, and phenomenon, which technically the definition of phenomenon is an unusual event that can be scientifically explained. And throughout history, we have seen phenomenons, whether it be individuals, whether it be organizations, whether it be situations. Minister U.E.P. Newton had assessed that power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. Power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. One of the principal dynamics that our community is, we deprived of that power and inability to assess, to sum up, to define it. You know what I'm saying? In so many cases, we have a reactionary assessment. And the deal is, the state, the system, the government, they have no issue with, you know what I'm saying, with people having access to resources, people having guns, people having understanding situations. If they don't even have the primary ability to define it. In other words, the state had no problem with certain individuals going, you know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. Yes, indeed, my sister. During the era of chattel slavery, the state had no problem with certain individuals, you know what I'm saying, going to the church, you know what I'm saying? But forces such as Reverend Nat Turner presented a problem to that. He presented a problem to the church. You know what I'm saying? Even when the slave owners raised issue with in fact, I think his biological sister said, wait a minute, this dude is a problem. She said, no, he's preaching a good word. You know what I'm saying? But he said, no, it's a different dynamic. It's a different response. You look at the slaves, they're responding differently. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people didn't have the ability to define it. In fact, many people that Reverend Nat Turner had took on that move, on one of the most largest uprisings, rebellions we have seen during the era of chattel slavery, on that of 1831. That same 1831 was Tupac had tattooed on his back. With Reverend Nat Turner, he didn't go through the struggling with all the individuals, let them know what move he was doing. In fact, he told some of them cats on the plantation, we just go on and, you know, break some leaves and take a walk. And I'm saying this to say, there are certain forces that, you know what I'm saying, that we cannot afford the luxury to keep on debating with. This phenomenon, the assassination of Nipsey Hussle, let his life as well as his death be a dynamic that, you know what I'm saying, to be politicized. You know what I'm saying? And in so many cases, you got to put a lot of work in. A lot of situations, because the deal is everything in our community, whether it be the chemical biological warfare, i.e. the crack, the heroin, the malaria, the AIDS, you name it, in our community, whether it be the disproportionate infant mortality rate in our community, whether it be the case of the police gunning someone down. There are so many cases where you have to even fight the victim themselves to say this is political. Because there are some people that come out and say, no, you know, so that's not the case. When you have certain dynamics that you can work with, you can say, okay, man, no, listen here, look at these different dynamics. It is important that we seize the time. And also, we must understand that this information is dangerous. It is dangerous. We relate to the scene in the Planet of the Apes, where the orangutan told the other gorilla, he said, hey, careful. The humans don't like no smart gorillas. And you know what I'm saying? So people must understand this not to be, this information it presents a problem. It presents a problem. And a consistent assessment. Not, I'm saying not because in so many cases we have our community we have these reactionary responses. You know what I'm saying? Later on down at the end, the white man bringing the drugs in. However, the process of getting to that at the same time, it's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? The turning the gun programs, the same police is dropping the guns in our community. The same, we'll say our people in our community are drug kingpins, calling the same state to vamp on people in our community. You know what I'm saying? A disconnect. So it's ideal to think that we're going to have some sort of gift wrap revolution, a gift wrap summations where there's going to be a consistency. So we have to work with what we got to work with. You know what I'm saying? But again, the politics is not the political assessment is not a popular position. I've learned so more the different analysis that people come up with while we in our situation, what's going on in our community. You know, whether it be out of nefarious intent or naivety, whether it be out of fear, whether it be in many cases attempts to make it inside to go inside of this the burning house, to go inside of a system that was built on literally on our backs, blood, sweat, and tears. And again, everything from the gun, because in fact, Minister Huey P. Newton said that we must even politicize the gun. In other words, what makes the people's gun different from the pig's guns? You know what I'm saying? Minister Huey P. Newton at one time had retracted the uniforms because the uniforms had started to outgrow the people's understanding the significance of the politics. People started thinking, I just had a leather jacket on. You know what I'm saying? Meaning our programs. You know what I'm saying? We're going through struggles within our organization about our programs, about when to hold them, when to let them go. Because on so many cases, we'll be reminded stuff the vanguard, you know what I'm saying, that we ourselves may take for granted, that people understand what are these programs designed for? What is service to the people? What is that dynamic? What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? And the deal is, if we move, as Chairman Fred said, the vanguard can never move too far ahead of the masses, nor can it be subjugated to being that of the tail guard. We do not deal in commandism. However, we got to keep a steady pace up, and it hurts because a lot of times people want to move fast. We got to do this, we got to do that. However, if we are detached from the people, again, when the vanguard party is the most advanced detachment of the community, but if you move too far away, it's detrimental. And when we have opportunities with individuals who, you know what I'm saying, who relate to the community, you can't say you hear all type of naysayers and, you know what I'm saying, naysayers and slave sayers. Well, you know, this guy, he's with the Crips, and the response, whether it be through the different artists, the games and TIs, what have you. And this is no slight on these individuals. This is their first response. You know what I'm saying? Automatic, niggas done it. You know what I'm saying? And you have so many of our community that has been damaged to the point, damaged to some. They should never even be in a position to give out a summation. You know what I'm saying? You have some that have damaged to the point that their automatic response is like a person that may have been hit by a pit bull as a child. As soon as they hear something, the pit bull's done it. You know what I'm saying? You listen, you watch, you know what I'm saying, the first response. And again, I said on the show earlier, some people's position may be with chairman, your first contact, you know what I'm saying, the state. So you may be subjective. You may be just, you know, all the time, the state did it, the system did it, you know what I'm saying? And as I said earlier, if that have been just an aberration, in other words, if you would have just told me, you know what, on just by happenstance on December the 4th, the police had went a ride. They had did some things they usually don't do. They just happened to come through, kick through someone's doors, you know what I'm saying, guns blazing, assassinating 22-year-old defense captain Mark Clark and 21-year-old Chairman Fred, you know what I'm saying? And that was a bad situation, you know what I'm saying, with your mother to be, you know what I'm saying, 8.5 months pregnant, police put a gun to her stomach. If you can lay out to me, that's an aberration. However, the fact is, a week before that, the 18-year-old sister in that same city, Chicago police just shot her head up with a shotgun. You know what I'm saying? November 13th, Spurgeon Jenkins Winters gunned down by Chicago police. That's long we start talking about the cases throughout the country, throughout the world. And in fact, the inception of the police, again, the inception of it was birthed of the slave patrol. It was called the slave patrols, and their duties, their job was to go out and catch those who ran away from the plantation. We look at the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. We look at how did J. Edgar Hoover, who was a district attorney, whose whole career was birthed and based on the attack on Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. This is the history of this system. You follow what I'm saying? So if anything, you know what I'm saying, objectively, the first response, anytime that people have done something progressive in our community, and not just progressive, on an independent type of way, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You people, they have profiles. We look at, there's been Instagram's posts, and forgive me, I can't pronounce, in fact, Nipsey Hussle's name correctly. Again, this opens the door for so many discussions. Eritrean. This opens the door for discussion about Eritrea, Ethiopia, the roles of Italy, so you know what I'm saying, the colonizing, so on and so forth. But his father, you know what I'm saying, the image you've seen of his father in 1975 with the sign of downward apartheid, downward imperialism. These are different, you know what I'm saying, the protests in his political ideology. The state studies bloodlines, they study DNA. You know what I'm saying? And these are different dynamics you got to take into context. They you know what I'm saying, they can tell you any local police station can tell you, you know what I'm saying, who's the you know what I'm saying, the local hustlers, you know what I'm saying, who's doing what, who has which habits, you know what I'm saying. They know who the informants are, so on and so forth. So when people, you know what I'm saying, everything is political, and we want to heighten the contradiction, so you know what I'm saying, so we can at least get to the stage in the games we see in other places. You know what I'm saying? I wish my guy can call in from Turkey to give us some updates on what's happening with the elections in Turkey. And I'm saying that because other places, you know what I'm saying, it's a acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, terms like political prisoners. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. I see in the bill, that's what it is. All about, if Saeed, free them all. Right on. Dwight, I see in the building. Come right, cool. I see y'all in the building. Free them all. Keep y'all heads up, eyes with the fist clenched. Y'all, we live and direct. Y'all feel free to cub in with us. Y'all feel free to tune in with us. Y'all feel free to call in with us. We're talking about a number of things. We're talking about right now Nipsey Hussle. You dig? And let me, I'm going to talk about my first encounter with him. You know what I'm saying? You heard me say it before. I'm going to say it again. I relate to what Richard Pryor said. He was a peopleologist. You know what I'm saying? He studied people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some people say your first contact, you know what I'm saying? Your first impression. I'm going to talk about that. Names, you know what I'm saying? I had mentioned to this cat in Chicago, Bump Johnson, Bump J, who the little cats he had with him. In fact, one of the cats, Daryl Hamilton, G-Man, who was gunned down by Chicago police, December the 2nd, 2002. Shot 15 times by Chicago police on 72nd in Dorchester. I remember telling Bum J that I dug the fact that at minimum that he even named himself, his name was in response to a black cat that hustled. I'm talking about Bump Johnson. Bumpy Johnson, who was cut from a different cloth, a totally different cloth than the Frank Lucases and the Nicky Bonds. Bumpy Johnson, who had a code, who, refused to, to sell dope and, to the black community, had certain who had told, when Malcolm was dealing with certain contradictions, who stated that Malcolm X, I'll put them guys on the corner and stand with you in your defense. I'm talking the guy in New York, Harlem, Bumpy Johnson. Niece, I see you, free them all. Bumpy Johnson, whose prison record. Now I'm telling you what his prison record defined me. See, you hear people say terms like, "Well, that's my truth," or "That's your truth." This is a whole climate of subject that is saturated with subjectivity. When we talk, I'm talking about some different dynamics. I'm talking about Nipsey Hussle. I'm telling you objective facts. I'm telling you from the state's perspective, people's perspective. We can debate a lot of things. I mean, well, you talk to the police or the people. Chairman Fred was assassinated December the 4th, 1969. There's no debate about it. It's not my truth. It is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And these are positions that people tend to play, that they play in the community. They can't play it with the ruling class. Could you imagine going up in a school where I believe this about, you know what I'm saying? So they're gonna say, no, this would happen. You know what I'm saying? You go up in court. I don't, that's your, okay, you can debate it. You know what I'm saying? You can sit in Folsom or Stateville, Attica, what have you. You know what I'm saying? You can feel differently. But at the end of the day, there's an objective reality. You did, and these individuals we talking about, it's a fact of the caliber of cloth that Nipsey Hussle's come from. It's a fact. With, you know what I'm saying, Bumpy Johnson, you know what I'm saying, his prison record, his prison files, they have a jacket on you. They define him as a race-conscious, cocky Negro. This is the prison administration defined Bumpy Johnson as. You know what I'm saying? This cat Nipsey Hussle, you watch even the different names of organizations, individuals, names of individuals. Again, listen to the names of organizations and individuals. You know what I'm saying? And what you identify with, what you think is cool. You know what I'm saying? You look at okay, we got I thought there was a question coming in. Y'all feel free to call in or type in the questions too. The organizations, individuals, so you check that out. This Nipsey, I talked about before, and the first contact that my mother, when she went to go talk to comedian Nipsey Russell. Nipsey Russell, some of those of my generation may be familiar with him more like in the movie The Wiz. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, I forget who else was in there. He played the Tin Man. That's Nipsey Russell. And my mother to be, I was probably about 6, 7.5 months pregnant with me at the time. And, she's on the finance committee of Black Panther Party. And a lot of people that they had to approach, you would be surprised. You have this abstract, they conscious, and they did, it's some of the same struggles we go through it now. You know what I'm saying? I heard about, not from my mother, I heard about from other people in the community, the struggles they had with Nina Simone. When yes. So this needs to be correlated to today, where people the ante had been upped, where you just couldn't come in with no abstract, I love you, and put the lava lamp and you light your incense. No, because people dealing with concrete, tangible attacks, and they call for concrete, tangible responses. You know what I'm saying? Nipsey Russell made a joke about this when he met Deborah Johnson. I'm trying to call on my phone. May I do a three-way call because they got something on the 929 number. You 477-3785, depending on what service. I know the Metro, they won't let us come in directly. So I got to do a three-way call it, or try to 708-223-8953. I'm gonna get truth needs no proof. It was scientific. We keep seeing people call the guy who killed him a snitch. But do we know that to be true? Do we have the people? Do we have the people that he told on? I'm trying to call on my phone. Okay. Free Don P. Real talk. Free Don P. Let me touch on that. Saeed, know that about Don P, man. Y'all, my nephew, Cole Force. It's a number of different cats on there calls of Don P. On tour. I'm not saying this subjectively. This young brother's the business, y'all. Attorney Khalid Muhammad, I see my brother right on, love and respect. Nipsey Russell, the comedian, he made a joke about it. He said this lady came to him, she pregnant. She got bandoliers of bullets falling off her chest, and she talking about a donation for the Black Panther Party. His position was, he said, I'm not going to get nobody donate no money for no guns. But he said, I took an envelope of money and dropped it under the door of the Black Panther Party headquarters in 2350 West Madison for the free breakfast program. This the type of climate, this type of dynamic. And you have to wonder why, this brother, forgive me for not even pronouncing his name correctly, who would take on the names common to Nipsey Russell, so became Nipsey Hussle. A lot of people say, I just don't understand the politics, but the reality is everything is political. The names that you identify with, the organizations that you relate to is political. And your political position is in bold, it's imprinted in you. You know what I'm saying? It's a combination of things. You know what I'm saying? And DNA, geographic location, experiences, first experiences, lack of experiences. You know what I'm saying? How you view different dynamics. Which you know what I'm saying? Again, I use the knowledge about the baby gorilla. They have, certain baby gorillas, their first contact of milk came through that, of the white poacher's hands. So to them subjectively, that's a savior. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, the 929 is not allowed T-Mobile or Metro, sir. Okay, right on to the comrade. Y'all call in 708-223-8953. Y'all call in. Mother comrade on our advisory board, Nipsey Russell donated $1,000 to the free breakfast program and put in context their era of time. This is the comedian Nipsey Russell. You know what I'm saying? I'm right on, because they don't really understand what state raised is. Let's talk about that. You know, and these are different. These are, you know what I'm saying, state raised. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about that too. Don't let me forget that point. I need, man, this is, you know, this is, I'm on overload with this, because, you know, so whenever you get a situation, and again, we definitely, not that you look forward to this, but I'd say that in my situation, in my life as well as my death, you know what I'm saying, let it be utilized as a political a political an opportunity to up the ante, to heighten the level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying, our actions, and, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying, not that we pick up and we keep, that we pick up, we up the ante. You know what I'm saying, that we don't do, we mourn, we fight. You know what I'm saying, we politicize. You know what I'm saying, we have to, and not to let this brother, you know what I'm saying, be taken in vain. You know what I'm saying, not to let him be taken in vain. And I'm gonna say this too. There's a lot of people saying what the documentary he's working on in regards to Dr. Sebi, you know, it's about the health and all that. And, you know, I'm gonna say this to y'all, man. It's certain, you know, certain forces. Even Dr. Sebi himself, he himself said on that when he was talking. I mean, with the dynamics about we go into the whole arena about how many hits have been put on doctors, how many doctors they've taken out there. The whole entire planes have just quote unquote disappeared. In Malaysia, you name it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Different, you know, geniuses in the medical field. But Dr. Sebi himself said that his mother had told him, I think at the time he supposed to cure 6 people with AIDS. And his mother said, they're gonna kill you, Fred. And he said he really couldn't, he couldn't understand it, you know what I'm saying? And this is Dr. Sebi's mother told him, Fred, they're gonna kill you. And that he said that shocked him, because he didn't. The whole dynamic of what this, I mean, the chemical biological warfare, a lot of us, you know, a lot of people in the impression that this system is trying to stop crime, or, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can get in certain arenas because you're doing certain things, but you don't know the threat that it presents. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, good. Yes, indeed. We're gonna no doubt about it. Right on, sis. The doctors and even the discussion already before Nipsey Hussle's even, you know what I'm saying, late, you know what I'm saying, put in the grave, already Nick Cannon's going to finish a documentary. I mean, come on now. They talk about even that book, that slander that's put on about Manny Marble on Malcolm X. They say he supposed to die right before the ending came out. See, if you say, even with movies, let's alone history, just changing a bit of it. In fact, Walt Disney had went to Orwell's wife, and they changed the ending of Animal Farm. They said, we keep everything, just change the ending of it. You know what I'm saying? And see, this changes the whole dynamic. So when they bring in certain individuals, the Nick Cannons and like, people say, oh, that's good, he's going to do it. And a lot of times we just rest assured, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's going to be, that's good. You know what I'm saying? He's going to mean well. You don't take that position with someone cooking a meal. You couldn't tell me you're at your house, your grandmother's cooking food, you know what I'm saying? And then here come your auntie, who you know she messed the potato salad up every time she come by. And they say, Grandmama done took, you know what I'm saying, Grandmama tired. And everybody say, well, ain't such and such, she gonna finish the meal. You're not going, Grandmama did everything. You're not going for that. You say, that's gonna be a different potato salad, different green, you know it. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, you gotta say, wait a minute, why is it, you know what I'm saying? We know this, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the history of this individual, Nick Cannon out his own mouth. He said when he was in LA, Chris Brown told him. He said, say, man, when you donate money to, he say, man, go to these cats in the community, in the hood. He say, Nick Cannon say, he thought he didn't see nothing wrong with giving money to these organizations, these GMOs, these government-made organizations. He said, when Chris Brown said that to him, he thought about that. And you have to take into account some people, this is their frame of reference. Some of these baby gorillas, they see no problem with, you know what I'm saying, going back to the, you know what I'm saying, the poachers to help foster their next generation of children. They have no problem with asking a poacher to help them fix their families up. Their frame of reference. They never seen no breast milk come from a gorilla. They never seen no real trees. They've been around these plastic plants, and they've been in zoos. They've been in arranged relationships. You know what I'm saying? So it's natural to them. You know what I'm saying? And you did also, let me talk about contested conditions. Y'all heard me talk about this a number of times, but particularly with these abstract conscious artists. You know what I'm saying? People say, I told some of these abstract conscious artists, I say, do you think it's coincidental that your first tour stops be in places like Germany, so on and so forth? Reason being, you're the blackest thing now. It builds up the morale. You know what I'm saying? So in context, you know what I'm saying? You say, wait a minute, but you're not in the black community. You follow what I'm saying? And it's a tame tiger. You know what I'm saying? But you have this brother, Nipsey Hussle, again, he could have very easily, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen, you know what I'm saying, before his beard was growing out, you seen the physical resemblance of him and Snoop Dogg. They offered him opportunities to play Snoop in that movie, Straight Outta Compton. You know what I'm saying? He could have very easily said, okay, he gonna go along with that. He said, no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? He's walking a different path. No disrespect. You know what I'm saying? He walks a different path. And see, that alone presents a problem to the system. Because the deal is they have arranged for you. Here, this is who you're going to be. This is how we're going to market you. Here's your woman, or here's your man, whatever, you know, or here's your mistress. Here's your car. Here's the type of music you say. Too Short talks about, it's an interview with Too Short, where he talked about how he had a whole different song playing. Whole different song, you know what I'm saying, playing. And the layout, he said when he got there, these people had they talking about, you know, take the clothes off, and all these women was right there, and it didn't even jive with the initial song he had playing. You know what I'm saying? This is he talks about in the interview. This is, you know what I'm saying, the deal is, and it was one of the Machiavellian tactics of imperialism. If people want to know what that word is, go look at that poster with Nipsey Hussle's father is carrying in 1975 in New York. The word is up there, imperialism. Look at his father's position about imperialism. You did this world politics that transcended geographical borderlines, whether it be Eritrea, Ethiopia, Congo, or Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me, y'all. I'm getting on that cold a little bit. These dynamics, you know what I'm saying? I lost my train of thought. But you struggle to put things in correct political context and recognize, again, the state does that. They study bloodlines, you name it, just in case it takes black people out of their communities to isolate us from each other. No doubt about it. The problems that he presented, you can't be told in words. You know, and a lot of people can relate to the whole, because our people, one of the dynamics about being colonized, you know, so it's more simplistic to relate automatically money. Even in our community, we see sexuality subjectively. In other words, Rome, imperialism in general, it sees these dynamics politically. They like the political definition. They can distinguish power from money. They can see the emasculation from homosexuality. Within our community, you'll be surprised how many people there cannot be no distinguishment. And it's such a reactionary dynamic in our community. If someone doesn't know how to speak English, people think that they're stupid. You know what I'm saying? This is the arrogance that, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of people in the colonized community, arrogance characteristics that they pick up on, that they carry. But again, so people can relate to the fact of, you know what I'm saying, the economic development. You know what I'm saying? Putting resources back inside the community. People say, okay, what's the big deal about that? What's the problem? You can talk to, Chicago Bulls players. You can go back and look. I've got this guy name, you know what I'm saying? And Craig Hodges, the Heat, he got this, but you tell Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Man, he talking again, who, you know, would not clear the different dynamics of it. Craig Hodges telling Michael Jordan, you should lower the price on the shoes. Not knowing Michael Jordan couldn't tell you the price on them shoes. That's like going to Ronald McDonald in front of McDonald's. Say, man, won't you drop the price down for Big Mac and make it this price? Ronald McDonald look at you like, man, I ain't got no say so with that, with them burgers. I come here and Ronald McDonald don't choose what colors he have on. It's a machine behind McDonald's that studied the community, studied the people, that has a scientific analysis to say, wait a minute, what colors make them hungry? Red and orange. Where to put them in the community? Where, you know what I'm saying? Where to put them at? So they ride past, whether they're hungry or not. It'll trigger something in them. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? To McDonald. So Ronald McDonald, he following orders. So they give you your directive. You feel what I'm saying? This the politics of McDonald's, the politics of hip hop. When to play certain songs, when to bring certain individuals out, what colors to wear, what terms, what loops. And it was one of the dynamics about U.S. imperialism. It has the ability. In fact, America's definition of democracy is letting others have their way. America's definition of the democracy is letting others have their way. In other words, they can have you in our rock thinking we demanded. We made sure we wanted more Coca-Cola over here. They can have you in Chicago. We won an election. We made this move. We called for more police cameras. We demand. They can flip the script. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people, it's a joke. They be arguing with you, and all I get to change the words, and people will be reactionary. Like, well, I want this. Okay, you won. And they concede. These are different dynamics. So just even when the attempts they brought Nipsey Hussle, who to collaborate with, you know what I'm saying, different offers from the Russell Simmons and the likes, you know what I'm saying, to go along with this, you know, to do this and that. You know, and even if it's incorrect decisions made, the state has a problem with you making them on your terms. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Kwame Nkrumah of the Ghana independence movement. Kwame Nkrumah had said that it is better to even be misgoverned by yourself as opposed to be governed what you think technically to be correct by a foreign entity. It is better to be misgoverned by yourself, your own self, as opposed to be incorrectly governed by a foreign entity. This presents a dynamic of what we're talking about. What's the end game? Champ, what's the end game? What we fighting for? We're fighting for self-determination. To be able to at least at minimum make mistakes on our own terms. You know what I'm saying? So like I tell you, it's a different feeling. It's on your own, as opposed to some people, like a lot of people doing after during the era of chattel slavery, they came back to the plantation. Like they wanted masters to take care of them, you know what I'm saying, to cover down on them. You know, like people talk about some people, and that's cool with some people. I say there are some people that's cool with picking cotton out of white folks' asses all day. They cool with that. And that's what you feel, so be it. However, there is, hard as it is to believe, there are some individuals, there are some people who still thirst for this precious entity to speak on their own terms, to have relationships on their own terms, not to have to be forced to go along what is popular for the system today, what is beneficial for imperialism today. It is a dynamic that there are people who are cut from a cloth who do not go along with when in Rome, do what the Romans do. There are people who say, I would still ride with that of Hannibal. I would still ride with that, unpopular as it may be, and we want to fight for that. We understand that that there's a certain benefit to being the Lil Waynes, and you know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. It's a guy who just recently, he pretty much admitted that he was an agent provocateur in our community. He said something to me recently. He said, "No, you don't know." He said, "The stuff I got to do," and I said, "No, you get all that finance," and and he said something like, "No, you know who you are," you know what I'm saying, and I caught it, you know what I'm saying, and see, these are different things that, you know what I'm saying, like, not because sometimes you look back, you say, man, you think about the front, you think about the resources they give these individuals, you know what I'm saying, the Mobutus, etc. And I'm gonna talk about that too, because a lot of people say, well, I don't, people debate about this question about assassination or death, so on and so forth. You look at these different dynamics, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know the price that people pay. And one guy told me before, he said, Chairman, you have to look at some of these other individuals. They have come up, you know what I'm saying, even at the expense of the people. And I do not adhere to an abstract black form of nationalism. In other words, I don't think that all black people want the same thing. I think it's a disservice. I know it's a disservice. I know it's a disservice. I don't believe that this politics is so potent that you can hear a show, I can talk to you, that you in a line. We you know what I'm saying, we will have the same points of unity. I am clear that there is a difference between 20 million motherfuckers and 20 million motherfuckers with the politics. I am clear that, as Marcus Garvey said, when all else fails to organize the people, the conditions will. I am clear that the system of imperialism is a parasitical politic, it's a parasitical economy. It's that when it gets through with you, it guts you, it leaves you without nothing. You know what I'm saying? And some people's position may, in their defense, their position may be they were nothing before that. And so so be it. However, let's heighten the contradictions and let's combat liberalism, as Chairman Mao Zedong says. In other words, so when people tell you their position, Let's acknowledge that. People, listen to people's position. Listen to them. We as opposed to, oh, he made a mistake, so on and so forth. Listen to the games and T.I. to their very first initial responses. You'll say, you're like, what happened to you? What? Listen to people that automatically the disdain for black men or disdain for black women or disdain for black people. It's a movie I told y'all to watch before. I'm gonna say it. I ain't gonna keep on advertising it. Sons of Anarchy. Clay asked the guy, Trigg. He said, man, what happened to you as a child? You know what I'm saying? You must take, you know what I'm saying? You don't, the problem, we must, as organizers, we have to listen to the people, you know. And however, when it comes with an arrogance to say that this is an objective summation as opposed in regards to some subjective situation that happened to them, then we have a problem. Now we got to cut you. Because I've had people tell me, hey man, hold on. This brother one time, he was in the distance and he heard the dog bark. And he said something to the effect, he said, man, he stopped. This brother, courageous brother, I love him. And he said, that's a Rottweiler? I said, whoa, I said, how you know? And he told me the faithful story of what this Rottweiler had done to his father. And I respected that. Now, you know what I'm saying? I respected that. Now, but he never took a position that all, you know what I'm saying, like to say, you shouldn't deal with them because Rottweilers are this. He had no blanket assessment. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, he didn't know. But you have in our community where people have a situation, something happened to them, and they come with a blanket assessment. You know what I'm saying? People who have never did no research. One of my Plan B guys had said one time, they had this show. They had all these different successful, I'm going to start using that term loosely, successful people, these movie directors, this up-and-coming generation. And they were on the shows, and they were just, I mean, my guy called me, you know, they were just dogging black people out, the black family out. They were talking about, and they were talking, again, not to negate the pain that they went through. They were talking about the different cases, you know what I'm saying, that people, the violations, the actions that people in their family had did to them. And my guy called me and said, man, he said, I'm pissed off. I said, what? He said, they talking like this speak for all black people. He said, man, and I can hear you when if you say, if you acknowledge it for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like people say, you don't hear terms like white on white crime. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's a blanket attack, you know what I'm saying? And as soon as they hear anything in regards, like, no, people have no, you never hear the word cartel used in Chicago. All the different ingredients can be put out there. Young lady worked for the airlines, came home, the house was broke in, the guy's hands, this is the actual case, his hands were cut off, you know what I'm saying, the wire tied around his hand. And people say, man, they must have had a domestic violence or what's going on. Never, you know what I'm saying, no implications. You know what I'm saying? Soon as you say a black person passed gas, man, damn niggas, man. It's going to be, the vortex is coming. It's going to be 20 degrees below zero. Man, black folks. I mean, literally, this is automatic. You know what I'm saying? A murder happened, automatic. Never even a thought with the police. Never thought about the state. And I tell you, at least I tell you what, at least just be open-minded. Just check your damage. You know what I'm saying? Just to check your baggage. Just say, hold your baggage and say, wait, before you get on this passenger plane, say, wait a minute. Could it be something wrong with the machinery, the engine? As opposed to say, wait, your first response is, man, no, and it comes out, they'll tell you, no, one time when I was somebody, this Negro, this dude, you'll say, okay, let's have the discussion objectively. That was not that baggage. That was not, you know what I'm saying? That person that worked for the airlines. That was not a stewardess. That was not a pilot. Don't bring that damaged baggage that, you know what I'm saying, that you seen a guy, you know what I'm saying, out front of the airport, you know what I'm saying, and you automatically, you know what I'm saying, he or she, you know what I'm saying, they do not speak for the airlines. These individuals that people talk about in their lives, they do not speak for black people. They raise up. I mean, our brother Saeed asked about the question: is it acknowledged about the guy? They say his name is. I talked to some guy in the street. Shitty Cuz. It says is it official? He's a snitch. Now, did this here. I'm gonna say this. They had a case where 50 Cent was in the airport, and he said something to this white guy with mental illness. Before 50 Cent landed, he donated. The backlash had came down so heavy on him about people with mental illness. He donated to some white institution that deals with mental illness. I mean, in our community, there's something we don't want to talk about, but we know it's happening. It's rampant in our community. You can see, you can, the photo. Look at this. Look in his eyes. You know what I'm saying? You can see it, and that's that we can acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this. I don't know how much time we got. The different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? About they say. It's reports that say opposed to anti-violence meeting set the next day. LAPD, Nipsey Hussle. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this man. You don't know what this different dynamics is, but I do know this here. A criminal psychologist said when you go to a crime scene, and what happened, Nipsey Hussle was a crime scene. The first thing you got to look for is who benefited. The carnage, you know what I'm saying? We day to day, you know what I'm saying? We got, forces touching down, giving us every day updates, what's going down. You dig? Who is benefiting? I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? To this very day, y'all, in Africa, in South Africa, occupied Tanzania, there are still cliques going down, warring factions. Some identify themselves as the Biggie Smalls crew, some identify themselves as the Tupac crew. You know what I'm saying? These are different to this day. You know what I'm saying? The cases, the assassinations of Pac, even Biggie, you know what I'm saying? People say, well, he wasn't saying nothing. Dig, don't flatter yourself that the fallout, the benefit, you know what I'm saying? We look at the case of Willie Lord of the Unknown Vice Lords, the progressive steps, you know what I'm saying? His strength, his depth, big law. You know what I'm saying? The surveillance, they tell you, anytime this entity is powerful, is the state tell you that you under surveillance and something happened to you, you know what I'm saying? They either sanction it or know about it. First impression. Janice Paz, Auntie Janice, give my brother my love, say free them all. I want you to help facilitate getting all them brothers online. Brothers over there in the town. You know what I'm saying? These brothers who've been locked up so long is ridiculous. I want to get them all online. All my irons, I see y'all. That's what it is. Antoine Ward, Leash in the building. Naoka, I see y'all in the building right on. Revolution Love, see the field marshal. Cool in the building, that's what it is. Comrade Stan, Fremont, Bud Bunchy, West Coast. We moving and grooving, y'all. Angel Dixon, Mother Comrade. Yeah, Comrade Nick, I see y'all in the building. That's what it is. Attorney Muhammad. Let's continue. Oh, wow. Hold on. How I get this back? Okay. See, that's why I ain't doing this. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? I'm not touching nothing else. See, leave it alone. Me and this technology. I'm backstage with Rock Moms, Field More comrades. Nipsey Hussle, he come off the stage, he performing. I'm a few feet away. I see the medallion that he got on. Mind you, I've been so damaged. Back to first impression. I see from a distance the gold chain he got. Mind you, my experiences of seeing these different artists fund so much resources into this dude, Jacob the Jeweler. Jacob, this guy who come from Russia, you know what I'm saying, probably of the Jewish community, who his whole career been based on these artists getting these white Jesus pendants. This is all I'm seeing. So So when I first see it from a distance, I'm thinking, oh, here we go again with this. See, I'm acknowledging that. You know what I'm saying? Because this been the context of seeing these cats recently. I'm getting a few feet distance from this young brother. I look at the chain that he got on. It's Malcolm X. It's Malcolm X. It's gold with Malcolm X with diamond encrusted Malcolm X. I was later told that his first $100,000 to get from some move or some song, something he did, he got this charm. You dig? And no, I didn't go in a text. I didn't go into again. I know it's a damage. I know because of past history. You know what I'm saying? That was the first thought, but when I come in contact, I see it, and it was inspiring. We had come on. Okay. Come on now, challenge. Okay, let's go up. We go back. I'm scared to touch the thing, y'all. Me and this technology, y'all. I asked Nipsey Hussle. I said, "Are you familiar with Chairman Fred Hampton?" His response was, "Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. What type of man would I be if I knew who Chairman Fred was?" And let me say the political impact with that. And I'm not saying, how you assess people for our community, how it impacts you. I take that into account. And that stuck with me. I remember my first contact with a lot of people, people in the entertainment field, and because I know they have you so isolated, but the impact, in some senses, aberration, I remember I remember backstage with I met and some artists I fight even coming in contact with. I say I can't listen. Some of these cats you like the songs, the music that you found, that somebody wrote their songs, and that their whole bio is Harold wasn't in the building. Yes, sir, my brother. Love and respect. We'll continue Cub community condolences. Real talk. They backgrounds are made up. I said some artists you like. If I meet them, I can't even. Because it's a whole, so it's actors and actresses, if that, and you're like, how can I even continue to listen to the song? You know what I'm saying? Because music, into something, it's like you want to take a trip, you want to, be able to relate to it. But some of these cats, you say, I can't go along with that, you know what I'm saying? I know it's just, they sending them off. Like all these artists, I say probably tell all these artists, whether it be the artist Rick Ross, not the real Rick Ross. The rest of the cats, I tell them you can't do no shows outside. They be like, why? The weather bad? Like, no, we don't know if it's gonna be rain. It might come down. It might not. It might take up these marker tattoos y'all got. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't surprise me if that. You know what I'm saying? You like the tattoos. It was even questionable if they actual tattoos. And how many children that be running up, doing this, and like, whether it be the drug usage. Y'all say be like, what's his name? Be the Rat Pack, Dean Martin. They say Dean Martin used to carry a little glass. They say really, it wasn't no bunch of licking, no actual licking now. You just do it, play. But how many people, follow behind them, they go and drink for real. I mean, black people in particular. These cats they talking about this and that. Yeah, I'm killing, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? Cats out there, they riding and bumping this for real. These cats, they children up into some university. Literally. Yes, Dr. Dre recently, you know what I'm saying? They children up in these universities, they doing good. How many babies done follow what they done said, believing in this here? Like really, these propaganda bombs they got Agent Orange in them drop down. Cats going along with this here. You go back and say, whoa, Lil Wayne, your children doing real good. I mean, man. So to meet a brother like this here, you know what I'm saying? And the feel of authenticity. And I can relate to authenticity, whether even if it's my adversary, the respect I have for that, the real. And I know that term they got watered down, keep it real. But that first meeting with him, this cat had potential, man. You know what I'm saying? In fact, we just was meeting in Oakland last week, a Central Committee meeting. We just talking about going up to LA to touch down with him. You know what I'm saying? It's a dynamic, man. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, and I think about, I remember my first encounter with Bone Thugs and Harmony. I was like, whew, man, U-turn. I was like, man, I literally, you know what I'm saying? I mean, no content. I said, man, I thought about it, but the politics gives you a clarity. I said, man, you remember this song, man, meet me at the crossroads. And you wanted to be like, man, yeah, maybe they read Garvey, maybe this and that, you know what I'm saying? But the different, then you later on, you do a little history check, like, okay, yeah, man, Easy just got, man, how you bumping to these guys? You know what I'm saying? In Cleveland, Ohio. Then later on, you reading that not Jimmy Iovine, what's dude name? One really pull the strings. Who? No. What's this? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Damn. Ice Cube came back in the song and everything. Jerry Heller. You say, do you see the story? Jerry Heller comes from Ohio. You say, oh, okay. So this like, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, we know the impact that Jerry Heller had on Eazy-E. He talks about, you know what I'm saying, the whole thing about when he was at when the rebellions happened in LA, you know what I'm saying? In fact, it can be correlated to the white dude James Brown called Pops. You know what I'm saying? These surrogate fathers, these individuals look for, you know what I'm saying? Man, like literally, you know what I'm saying? So Jerry Heller, Philadelphia in the building. My brother, let's make sure we follow through. We need to be there for Malcolm X Day, man. Yes, I love you, my brother. Extend our love and greetings. So I'm listening. I meet Bone Thugs and Harmony, and the politics gives me the ability not to be subjective. Now, I see them. They had, man. We talking to this Chairman Fred. They no connection, none. I mean, no, I'm not saying that to be subjectively. You know what I'm saying? But but I'm just. Then I say, man. I say, man. Wait a minute. It would be. It's ideal to have that song to hear God, the crossroads, and hoping. That's what we want to hear. We want that to be the case. But then he said, well, wait a minute. Okay, Easy in Ohio. This like a Mecca. This was to them. This was Jerry Heller come from. You know what I'm saying? So you look at these different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that now you turn. I said, man, I remember, you know what I'm saying? And like stuff comes out, you know what I'm saying? This Jill Scott. I remember the day HBL block party. Carmen kept trying to force the meeting. I mean, I could spend the damage. I'm telling you, you can feel it. I mean, the disdain for black men. I mean, you could, man, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so I'm back up. And I remember this. I remember going upstairs, and I remember literally not going downstairs. In fact, this is the first time the Fugees was getting together and they performing, and people say, Champ, you want to go down there? Lauren Hill was downstairs. I said, I don't want to take no chance. I mean, because this Jill Scott dynamic, you know, I just, you know, this reality, you know what I'm saying? And these you know, and I'm saying this to say, this is no stuff on Lauren Hill, you know what I'm saying? Or even Jill Scott. It's acknowledging, you know what I'm saying, different positions. And it's because the state, they do psychological profile. They know and they exploit our differences, you know, in our community. They know it. And they know who to put up. They know how far you'll go. They know the issues, so on and so forth, you know what I'm saying? And this brother, you know what I'm saying, he came through Nipsey Hussle. He presented a problem. He related to the community, you know what I'm saying? And man, I had a good impression of him. It was, man, it was a hit that not only impacted him and his respective family, not his community, not only LA, not only Eritrea, you know what I'm saying, but for generations to come. You know what I'm saying? It's going to send defeatism. It's going to send all type of different dynamics. I think it's important that we someone know politically, you know what I'm saying? Because the deal is they planning on graving and caging all of us. But it's different to live as opposed to exist. You dig what I'm saying? And Nipsey, in fact, they say one of his last tweets, it says it's something to have powerful enemies. You think if he put that tweet out, you think he talking about this, they talking about this guy, who they call Shitty Cuz, you think he's saying powerful enemies. You know what I'm saying? He acknowledging that. You know what I'm saying? He's telling you think that's who he's talking about? This young dude, you know what I'm saying? Who they call his name is Shitty Cuz, did this here. A lot of cats don't believe that black folks is even worthy of nothing, including being hit by the state. Cats will tell you, oh man, anybody think about us? We ain't this and that. Man, this the impact. I mean, the impact that he had on community. This hit. You know what I'm saying? It's important we sum this up correctly. We live and direct y'all on Free Radio, Intellectual Radio. Let me know. We got any callers in queues to come, Rad? We can't. We got no callers in queue. That's right. 708-223-8953. And also, if y'all type y'all questions in. I know I missed a couple of them earlier. I got to get it off my chest, but let's open up for questions. No call in. We can't the 929 number is down. So if you can't hit the 708-223-8953. How we looking? We still here. And type your questions in right now if y'all can. Type your questions in or question your comments. Saeed, I know you said something earlier. I missed it. So feel free to hit back again. He did, David Bryant. He assessed that. He did. For those who just in the listening audience, David Bryant just commented Malcolm X and said, bigger than him. Malcolm Shabazz, you know what I'm saying, who's assassinated, his grandson, all, you know what I'm saying? Young Red, free them all. Yes, indeed. And a lot of people, they hear words like they want to see assassinations in a stoic, limited way. White man come in some suits and mirrored glasses and briefcases and just see what a lot of people wait on the same system that's doing us to come acknowledge it, to come tell, oh, this is and some people is worse off than that. I said if the government came and told everybody, listen, let us be upfront with y'all. This crack cocaine, I know y'all been flattering y'allself that you think that your homie got a hookup and brought this in. Let us explain to you really how this got his go. We did studies. Government did studies, and we, according to the melanin, and we had did it to the point that the darker you are, the more addictive you will become. I don't, you know what I'm saying? We've done studies to put this in the community. The projects, the government, we're gonna let you. We have gotten that bowl now to let you know that term is literally a project. The police stations, all that. We have what's about the expressway. We have a program called a King Alfred Plan. This is the government telling people this here up front. Also, I know you think that you've been calling shots. You about the dope in the community. Let us tell you about the history of the dope game. Let us tell you. This is again. This is the government. Did we make that clear? That your organizations, the Black Panther Party, contrary to you believing that there was just some Negroes on their own, they just black folks fighting amongst each other. Let us tell you about this program that we put together, the government called COINTELPRO, Counterintelligence Program. They studied the psychological profile. We knew who to raise up. Oh, if your response is to believe like no such. Let me say this too, and for full disclosure, I've met people who were in the party. Y'all know I always distinguish between a person that's in the Black Panther Party and that's what the Black Panther Party is. I've been hearing that. David Bryant, I've been hearing that. A few comrades letting me know that they service go all the way black during the call. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Well, the comrades point out there are people who say and still take the position that it was male chauvinism, not the government, that destroyed the Black Panther Party. They actually they pushed that, you know what I'm saying? And you talk to them long enough, it'll come out. You're like, oh, you talk to them for 5 minutes. You say, wait a minute. No, we're talking about the Black Panther Party. We're not talking about at your house as a child. So again, not this baggage, we're talking about this passenger plane. And people say, like the government, I mean, they put certain people in positions. If you think these individuals who be on Facebook telling you what they're gonna do, so on and so forth, you think the state don't know who gonna do what? They can tell you when they in prison, they can tell you it's gonna be a problem. The case of Darion Albert, Finger High School. They knew what was going to happen that day at Finger High School. They knew it. Told the police, man, this is stay in the car. Them children was banging on the doors trying to go type the case in. Banging on the doors trying to get in. They knew what was going to happen. They had psychological profile. In prison, they know they would call send the joint up. They had these two homosexuals they would put inside a prison and create a situation and say it's going to go up. They know what type of drug. You know what I'm saying? So back to that analogy I was giving. The government can actually tell people this what's been going on. Cats be like, no, it's some niggas that done that. You know what I'm saying? And it's don't flatter yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, everything. So they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You say, well, how did this serve? You know, Ron Brown. Man, fear is something else. Ron Brown, the former Secretary of Commerce for U.S. United States under Bill Clinton's administration. It was some deal going down in Africa, and you know what I'm saying? He was coming back, he was on a plane, and the Ron Brown, Google, check that out. The plane mysteriously just crashed, whole plane, and they said that there was no record of a black box. Now, black box, something you find on the UPS, the regular plane transfer, you know what I'm saying? The regular planes. This is the Secretary of Commerce for the United States. They was on BET, and his family was talking about something. Man, when that guy said, that naval intelligence said about that hole on top of Ron Brown's head, like a 45 shell, man, they asked his daughter, she said, no, he died. You know, this stuff, man, hey, listen, man, you don't know the different, they don't see one thing about the ruling class, they deal with need-to-know basis. We don't know all the different dynamics in the music industry, who, you know what I'm saying, who's going to benefit. Clive Davis told Shaka Khan, you worth more to us dead than alive. They told him. They ain't cut no corners with him. They told him. You look at the moves that Sam Cooke was about to make. Go check out Sam Cooke. Go look at the different dynamics. Go look at help me out now. Sister name, the one that raised the issue with Beyonce about singing her song. Ella, what's the sister's name? Help me out now, y'all. The one when Beyonce sung her song at Obama's inauguration, she Ella, what's the sister's name? She described Sam Cooke's body. She had all his bones was broken. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? She talked, it was later spoke with the mafioso connection with the government that hit Sam Cooke. I think the sister's name in a minute. She's on Chess Records. Etta James. Watch out now. Right on, because Etta James. Etta James. You look at what's going on with Sam Cooke. You look at you know what I'm saying? Who benefited? The guy Klein. You know what I'm saying? You real talk. Right on. Another member of our advisory board, Stan McKinney, right on. Still rapping with the ideology and philosophy of the Black Panther Party. It don't expire. You know what I'm saying? It don't expire. It's still relevant. It's still revolutionary, still relevant. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to sum these different dynamics up. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, y'all. We live and direct, y'all. Again, Nipsey Hussle. Time will only, you know what I'm saying? Nothing but the politics can sum up, you know what I'm saying? Correctly sum up. You know what I'm saying? This and we still limited. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we're gonna be deprived of a lot of information. Because a lot of people will miss certain things because they don't they cut it off. They came in phantom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying, can't even think about, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't, like, you know, it's like somebody that's been in Alaska all their life and you talking about, you know, man, just hanging out at the beach. They can't even fathom that. You have people that can't even fathom, you know what I'm saying? They initial impact or damage. They can't even fathom that the system do something else. They have such a lack of appreciation of Black people. Who are you? Why would why would the system do something to you? You know, I held it, you know what I'm saying? I looked at, you know what I'm saying, you know, I mean, like even how people had the subjective, how they view this hip hop artist, you know what I'm saying? It's very subjectively, you know what I'm saying? They can't see, well, that's just music, you know what I'm saying? But it's important that we don't keep on struggling with everybody to get on, because certain people, that music has to go over their heads. Harriet, you on the plantation, you can't keep struggling with everybody to say, man, listen to what she's telling us, Harriet Tubman. Listen to what they're saying. I met people to this day, and I asked them, you seen Dave Chappelle Block Party? Yeah, I seen them. And they with me in there, they can't see it. And it's good. Politics impacts what you hear, what you don't hear, what you see. Right on, left eye. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Even, you know what I'm saying, the time of her death, excuse me, her assassination. You know what I'm saying? And even people look for these correct political terms and situations. You know what I'm saying? You got to put stuff in context of our community. We are deprived of that. You know what I'm saying? But it does not negate the reality that assassinations occur. People want to wait till we get the right political assessment, the perfect allies. No, because again, we are service of the people and service of history. So we want to lay this out, you know what I'm saying, now, you know what I'm saying, you know, our future generation going to touch it up and say, man, this is what this was, and this was this on and so forth. There are agent provocateurs in our community, you name it. And we got to put this correct political context, y'all. That's what it is. Any more questions or comments, y'all? We on countdown. Y'all, let's bump some Nipsey. Let's bump some Nipsey Hussle tonight. Do some research on him. Do some research on Eritrea. Do some research, you know what I'm saying, Italy. Do some research on LA. Do some research on the LAPD. Do some research on whatever respective community you are. Do some research on the Woodlawn experiment. Do some research on Tupac. Do some research on, you know what I'm saying, Crenshaw. You know what I'm saying? Check out the community. You know what I'm saying? Do some research on, you know what I'm saying, the Mobutus. State raised. Let me right on, sis. You touch on that. The state, there are certain individuals, you know what I'm saying, that is a term that was used inside the prison, inside the, you know what I'm saying, state raised, and a lot of people, their first meals were, you know what I'm saying, blue laces, and right on, yes indeed, blue laces by Nipsey, yes indeed, that bumped that classic, y'all, yes indeed. The Negro Informant, right on, check it out, the Negro Informant talks about, you know, setting fires and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, right on, the Ritual Liberation Armed Struggle, all these that, and tie these into the conversations, y'all. Let's utilize this. In fact, Nipsey has said himself that people have been calling him, saying, man, you don't doing this thing on Dr. Sabi, so on and so forth. Man, they watch yourself. Nipsey said, man, just don't pray for me. Just don't pray for me. Let me say something to you. It's a sister I met that was she's sitting next to Dr. Sabi. Just she had like a lot of hair. She blowing. I recall meeting her, and she laughed at me when I said he was assassinated. She said, man, literally, she said, because I'm saying this, when I first met her, I said, you familiar with Chairman Fred Hampton? She said she had never heard of Chairman Fred Hampton, black, none of this. I said, you been in Chicago? And she pulled it. She said, I'm such and such. I got so many hits on my video. I say, I ain't talking hits on no video. I'm talking hits on us. You know what I'm saying? BJ in the bit. I see you, my brother, right on. Power to people. Man, she sitting next to Dr. Sabi on the video. She laughed. She said, what are you assassinated? So you can't debate with everybody. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, y'all. Man, Chairman Mao Zedong, man, is gonna come to the stage in the game, man. Blood to the horse's brow. Woe to those who can't swim. State raised, man. Those are the ones. These are down there who their first milk come from the poachers. You know what I'm saying? It's a connection that, you know what I'm saying, and that's some big phenomenon, some tragedy can break that connection. But however, you know what I'm saying, they have indoctrinated some individuals, you know what I'm saying, at a certain time in their life. We must have programs. We must serve the people with like the Black Panther Party Free Breakfast program, like the Black Panther Party Cuz CCC program. They hit these children at a certain age and leave memories. We got to put a stain in their brain and a mark in their heart. That whatever they go through, as we've seen with Malcolm as a child, he remembered his father, you know what I'm saying, with the Garveyites. Remembered his mother, you know what I'm saying, organized with Garveyites. And he went through all different travels and travails. They don't like to touch back down. State raised, real talk. That's acknowledged. No doubt about it. They say, they produce these murders. It's like the movie Idris Elba, Beast of No Nation. They go through. They had these mercenaries. They kill them up with dope, and you look at their eyes. They kill their parents in front of them and say, now their pores are open. They tell them, I'm your new parent. Who? The sheriff, the police, the adoption agency, the social agencies. And you know what I'm saying? You walk in those footsteps. You know what I'm saying? You'll walk in the state's footsteps. Have you ever heard of Mary Ellen? I heard that name, Mary Ellen Pleasant. I heard that name. I can't recall the particulars. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. It's bigger than the whole dynamic. No doubt about it. Let's keep our eyes open. Let's you know what I'm saying? Never let it be negated to just no one individual. They told me, you know what I'm saying, who is it? It's a machine. That's how we had to view this. Just don't tell me a football game, oh man, such was the quarterback that won the game. No. When Dr. King, when they assassinated Dr. King, they told the black firemen, y'all got a day off from work. Y'all got to come to work today. Oh, this is a machine we talking about. This ain't no individual. You know what I'm saying? It's a machine. So it's ever developing. It's ain't no absolute clear cut. Okay, well, got a bad guy. That's it. Case closed. No. It's so many different dynamics. What type of music they play? What type of atmosphere? Let's say the state, again, everything's political. You know what I'm saying? And so again, hey, it's big. Nipsey Hussle was big. Nipsey Hussle is big, y'all. Long live Nipsey Hussle. Let's arm it with the politics. Let's sum it up politically. His life as well as his death. You know what I'm saying? The benefactors. Let it be ever developing. They see, you know what I'm saying? There's no statute of limitations for terrorism. And what happened to Nipsey Hussle was an act of terrorism. It was a message to our community. Listen to the response. People say, oh man, forget that dealing with black people. See they do to you, you know what I'm saying? Black people do to you. There was a strategic move. Strategic move. Okay, she funded the Underground Railroad from San Francisco. She paid John. Okay, I want him to. Okay, I remember her hearing the name. Okay, right on. Yes, indeed. Y'all, we on the countdown. I'm working. They working on getting me to the West Coast. So, comrades, community heads up, y'all. You know, someone touch down. But meantime, between time, y'all keep your eyes open, ears open. Y'all eyes open, ears open. Y'all heads up, your fists clenched. Long live the legacy of Nipsey Hussle. Long live the legacy of Nipsey Hussle. Real talk. It's gonna be an ongoing summation. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I told this one cat from the street organization. Told me, he said, "Chairman, you crazy? Someone die for the people." I said, "You can't kill motherfuckers like us, man. You can't do it." Long live Nipsey Hussle, y'all. Real talk. Make history. Take history. Tape history. See if we can go out with some blue laces and marathon, y'all. That's what it is. It's called Free 'em All. Here's about some fist clench, y'all. Free 'em all.
Free 'em all, Brother Cherry.
Free 'em all.
Check it out with, of course, the pocket Nipsey joint that you missed.
Woo! Okay, well, bring it on. Bring it on.